Kent Online News.
News you can trust.
This is the Kent Online Podcast. Nicola Everett.
Hello, hope you're okay on Tuesday, June the 9th. Thanks ever so much for downloading today's podcast. First on the episode today, a Westmoreland man who threatened members of his own family and tried to attack one after smashing into their home has been jailed. Well, Lucy joins me now with more on this story. Lucy, what's been revealed in court?
Well, Dane May's behaviour against two siblings and their mother went on for 18 months. His behaviour was so concerning, his mum was forced to move house for her safety, and his youngest brother, Alfie May, who's a professional footballer, installed high-tech security at his home. Details were laid out at his sentencing hearing for 3 offences of stalking and attempting to cause grievous bodily harm. It was also revealed how the 38-year-old from Eddington Way had inherited £120,000 from his late father at the end of 2023, and his family believed he used the money to fuel a drug addiction. 2 weeks before he was arrested, he'd visited his mum's home, threatening to break in and burn the house down. He had also phoned one of his brothers, threatening to kill him. And in April last year, he tried to kick his way into his brother's home before attempting to smash the doors with a garden chair and paving slab. When inside, he was involved in a fight with his brother, who eventually managed to restrain him. A judge imposed a 10.5-year extended sentence. That means he'll be in prison for 7.5 years and on licence for 3 when he's released. He's also been given an indefinite restraining order.
Lucy, thank you ever so much.
Kent Online News.
Other top stories for you today, and an investigation's underway into the cause of a huge fire in London which impacted thousands of Kent commuters. The blaze broke out at a recycling centre near New Cross Station, disrupting services from London Bridge and Charing Cross yesterday evening. Around 100 firefighters were needed to bring the flames under control. South Eastern say trains are now running as normal. A man charged over a crash in Swanley which left 2 boys injured will have to wait 2 years for his trial. Stephen Harris denies dangerous driving after his car was involved in a collision with a motorbike on St Mary's Road last month. 2 teenagers were taken to hospital, with one in a serious condition. The 39-year-old from Rowan Road is due back in court in June 2028. A person's been taken to hospital after a vehicle overturned in a crash in Strood. Police and paramedics were called to the A2 Watling Street yesterday evening following a collision between a car and a van. The injuries are not thought to be life-threatening. Now, a warning's been issued about the World Cup leading to a rise in domestic abuse in Kent. Bosses in Medway have launched a campaign urging people to spot the signs and get help. The tournament starts on Thursday with England's first game next week. Well, Medway Council leader Vince Maple has posted a video on Instagram.
We're at Chatham Town Football Club, and like football supporters all across the country, really excited about the World Cup, a great opportunity to cheer on England. But of course, we know in some households the World Cup can be a time of terror. Statistics show us that when England play in the World Cup and they lose, 38% increase in domestic abuse. When England play in the World Cup and they win, a 26% increase in domestic abuse. Those statistics are stark, and it means we've all got to do everything we can to reduce those numbers. I'm incredibly proud of the work, both myself as a White Ribbon Ambassador and of our friends and colleagues across Medway and Kent, for the work we do every single day when it comes to the issue of domestic abuse. If you need to reach out to someone, or you think somebody else in your social circle needs to reach out to someone, we've got lots of very strong advice and guidance. Please do have a look on the links below, and let's all play our part in reducing domestic abuse here in Medway.
Now, you can see the links that Vince referenced there by heading to Medway Council's Instagram to see that video in full. You can also access specialist domestic abuse support by calling Victim Support. They're on 0808 168 9111. That's 0808 168 9111. Or you can visit domesticabuseservices.org
Kent Online reports.
Campaigners fighting plans for a 250-home estate on the outskirts of Faversham say they're cautiously hopeful following a challenge in the High Court. The Ham Marshes development would see properties built on farmland. The local council rejected it back in 2023, but that was overturned by the Planning Inspectorate. Now a judicial review has taken place and a judge will make a final decision. There's a warning to drivers about gasworks that will affect traffic near Maidstone. SGN is replacing mains in the Lewes and Linton areas and say it's essential so homes and businesses continue to have a safe and reliable supply. The project is expected to take 27 weeks. The Ukrainian president has criticised a decision by some councils to remove his country's flag from their buildings. Authorities run by Reform UK, including Kent County Council, took them down in favour of flying British and other local flags. Volodymyr Zelensky says small mistakes can break friendships. Now, as we approach the 10th anniversary of Brexit, one of Kent's MPs has told the Kent Online podcast it was a big mistake. The UK voted to leave the EU by 52% to 48% in June 2016, after then Prime Minister David Cameron gave the go-ahead for a referendum. Some campaigners are now calling for the country to rejoin the European Union and recently walked from London through Kent to Brussels. Well, Tony Vaughan, who represents Folkestone and Hythe, says it's had a huge impact on companies in the county, and he's been chatting to local democracy reporter Dan Essen.
Brexit was, for me, a big mistake, and I didn't support it. And I see constituents who are exporting businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, exporting to the European Union, who are saying we are just kind of massively overburdened by these new rules that result from having a border, a hard border. You're having to comply, because we're an external country, a third country, they have to comply with mountains of paperwork. They can't compete on a level playing field with other businesses, and they're hamstrung, and they're experiencing challenges that are not good for them. And those are businesses in Folkestone and Hythe. Those are businesses in Kent.
So is that a case for just straight up rejoining the European Union then, or do you think it needs to be?
So what I'm trying to explain is that there are businesses that are hurt by having a hard border, right? And there is absolutely no purpose in doing that when we have our nearest neighbour next to us. Now, the way that we move forward is obviously the question. And what the government's been doing is to try to address some of the most acute and the most problematic types of friction. So there's been an agreement around the farming and food and what's called the SPS agreement, which is going to help on that stuff. And I think if we can show that we can build back these bridges in a way that benefit the British people, very, very clearly benefit the British people, it will be more clear to people that these sorts of cooperations are in our interests. And I think that sort of approach, where you're building trust step by step, so that we don't get back to these debates of the past. I think it's very easy to sort of say, well, let's just rejoin. And as my instinct, as an ardent pro-European, is simply to say, yeah, let's just rejoin. Brilliant. But you can't sort of take these positions in a vacuum. I mean, it's not just sitting around and doing what you fancy. You got to take decisions in this way that engage with the political reality that you face. And the front line of that political reality is that there is still a very, very large portion of the public, including the media, who are very, very pro-Brexit, despite the fact it has demonstrably harmed our country and our economy. And so I think the approach the government has taken so far, which is to say we're going to build back bridges in specific areas, is right. But I think that if we can kind of get proof of concept from that, we ought to be moving further in other areas and ultimately talk about some sort of arrangement like Switzerland or something like that, where you're essentially able to allow your economies to compete on a level playing field, but without taking that further step around essentially freedom of movement, which was for many people the red line. I would like that to come back ultimately, But I think we have to go step by step with the electorate on this question, because otherwise we're just going to get back into our corners of leave and remain, which was completely divisive for our country, and I would not want that to go back to that at all. We have to find a new way of proceeding on this issue that does not go back to those old divisions.
Kent Online reports.
People living near a landfill site in Canterbury are calling for the facility to be shut down. The Shelford landfill off Shalloak Road has been used since the early 1970s, but has now been described as an eyesore. People living nearby have met with the Environment Agency. The company running it has been asked for a comment. There are calls for a new park and ride in Folkestone if plans for a supermarket are approved. Lidl's hoping to relocate from its current site on Shelland Street to the East Station goods yard. Campaigners say a new bus route would help ease traffic in the area. Others have suggested a tram route as well, using the old railway line towards the Harbour Arm. Next on today's episode, and a woman from Sevenoaks who was left paralysed after suffering a cardiac arrest says she's determined not to be a burden on her family. Nikki Owen spent 10 months in hospital after it happened in February last year. She's now living in an adapted bungalow in Otford, but has been fundraising to convert a shed into a purpose-built rehab space. Nikki has been speaking to reporter Charlotte Phillips.
I was given a 1% chance of survival, but I'm here. And although my body is very, very different now, mentally, I'm still the same person, just having to come to grips with a real life-changing situation. So all my family have been amazing. I've got an incredible daughter, and I'm now a grandma. So I've got a grandson, Freddie, and I've got a lovely sister and a lovely brother, and so many wonderful friends. So I couldn't have done it without them.
Your sister was with you when the cardiac arrest happened, wasn't she?
Yeah, she saved my life.
Yeah. Oh,
so if Sally hadn't have been staying with me and I'd gone in to say to her, please call an ambulance, because I knew something was off, and she thought I was just being melodramatic. And then she realised. And bless her, she was really traumatised, but she gave me CPR. And thank goodness she was with me. So I was in hospital for 10 months in total.
Oh gosh. So when did you get out of hospital, and kind of what's happened since?
Only in December.
Oh wow.
So I was in hospital for 3 months at the Conquest in Hastings. Then I was transferred to Stoke Mandeville, where I learned how to mobilise, really, how to get around and how to use a wheelchair, how to transfer in and out of a wheelchair. So I got back in December into a little adapted bungalow that I'd never lived in before. That was, I think, the first month of being home, when you've been used to high levels of care and support, was really, really hard, actually. And suddenly it hit me. This is my life now. And I used to be very active. I used to have a thriving client consultancy that just dried up overnight, obviously. And just been working hard to be as mobile as I can and not be a drain on my family, because they've already done so much for me. So I do try to be upbeat, but sometimes it can be a struggle.
With the fundraiser, I know, like I said, you've reached pretty much the whole goal, so that must be really heartwarming, the fact that everyone's kind of come together to donate. And
it is a bit mind-blowing, because it means that we can get the shed reinforced, the floor.
Yeah.
We can get it insulated so I can use it in the winter as well. And at the moment, it's inaccessible, the shed.
Yeah.
So funny enough, the builders have come today to start to look at how to create a smooth pathway, so I can seamlessly go into the shed and do my standing frame exercise and just protect the bones as much as I can, that's left, really.
And we've put a link to the fundraising page within the story at Kent Online. And Steve Backshall is helping to launch a new family experience at the historic dockyard in Chatham. The Awesome Oceans Trail is aiming to bring the wonders of the sea to Medway and inspire the next generation of conservationists. It's been designed in partnership with the TV naturalists and will run from July until September.
Kent Online Sport.
Cricket first up, and there's another game for Kent in the T20 Blast tonight. The Spitfires travel to take on Essex with play due to get underway at 7. It follows Sunday's defeat to Sussex Sharks. On to tennis now, and Kent's Emma Raducanu will be in action at the Queen's Club Championships today. She's playing Anna Blinkova in the opening round of the singles tournament before teaming up with Katie Boulter in the doubles. Serena Williams is also returning to the court as she makes a comeback at the age of 44. Football, and England need a win tonight to be in with a chance of qualifying automatically for the Women's World Cup. Maidstone's Alessia Russo's in the squad for the game against Ukraine. It follows last week's heavy 4-0 defeat to Spain. And finally, a Kent golf club has honoured its oldest player. Christopher Martin turned 100 earlier this year and still regularly plays the sport at Canterbury Golf Club and Driving Range. He's been a member since 1974 and is actually a year older than the club itself. Reporter Sam Lennon has been speaking to Christopher and started by asking why he's still playing golf at 100.
Because I enjoy doing it. It's nice to get outside, but it's a challenge to play as well as I can, despite getting old. And I can't hit the ball nearly as far as I used to, but I just keep going, yeah.
Has golf in itself kept you physically fit?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Because, I don't remember exactly when I used to walk round, and that it's quite a long distance. That's several miles. And in the past, when I was a bit younger, I could walk a round in the morning and another round in the afternoon. So it's really good exercise.
How do you feel about you've been made an honorary member? How do you feel about that?
Oh, that's a great pleasure to be given that honour. Yeah.
Is being in this club part of your social well-being? You're mixing with people and so on. Does that help you? Because we all need good mental health as well as physical health. So does that help with your mental well-being and emotional well-being?
It does. Particularly in the past where I was playing with, I had two old friends that I played several years with, once a week and then in the clubhouse.
Are you hoping to play golf for as long as possible?
Well, yes, as long as I can, yeah.
Christopher's been awarded a Certificate of Achievement and was guest of honour at a celebratory lunch. Well, that's all from us for today. Thanks ever so much for listening. Don't forget, you can follow us on socials, plus you can get details on the top stories direct to your email each morning via the briefing. To sign up to that, just head to kentonline.co.uk, and whilst you're on the website, you can also subscribe to Kent Online Premium. That gives you access to content with fewer ads and exclusive stories.
News you can trust.
This is the Kent Online Podcast.